A lot of just producing, literally pushing buttons. Okay, we're back. Sorry. It's on number 2. Now it's on number 1. The song is 3 minutes long. Let it establish for a second. It's on number 1. It's on pot number 1 here.
Yep.
Let it play for a second.
I'm in the zone.
We won't play the whole thing.
Right.
Did you guys play the whole thing or
No.
not? Okay.
No.
I'm in the zone, baby. I'm in the zone. Mm-hmm.
So you kind
Look,
of
Mom, I'm dancing.
produce Mike and give him a 10-second countdown.
I'm in the zone.
Stand by, Mike, in 10 seconds, all right? Five, 4, 3, 2, you guys.
Well, good evening and welcome to, I say another edition because we've been doing this thing for a long time, but it's our first edition of the Prep Zone Sports Show for the 2022-2023 high school year. Happy to be back. I'm Mike Ridaught. Guest host tonight, Philip Crutchfield, former athletics director at Eastside High School. Marty Pallman is my co-host, but he's broadcasting Santa Fe College volleyball tonight. So it's that time of year. Just feels good, you know, when we think back. It wasn't that long ago, Philip, that we had no sports at all because of COVID. So it's nice to know that we're back to a norm now.
It's great. Fall sports are getting underway. It's just the best time of year for me. I'm happy to be contributing to the Prep Zone now that I'm no longer having to run around and go to games and check on things at Eastside. So it's good to be a contributor for the Prep Zone now.
Before we get to our guest tonight, and we're going to do this show every Wednesday night all the way through the month of May, every Wednesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. You can always get it on 106.9 I Am Country Thanks, by the way, to Reagan Knight and Larry Wilson, both tag teaming and producing tonight's radio show. But you can get audio always online all year long at iamcountryradio.com. Now, a new element tonight. We don't know if we'll be doing this every Wednesday for the show, but we will have video at the Prep Zone for some games that we're going to be broadcasting. Also with Marty Pallman is hosting his own show on Monday nights. And the great thing about the video is you can get it on YouTube. You can get it on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. Heck, what is Twitch? Twitch is like when my leg shakes, right? What is Twitch?
You're too old for Twitch, Mike. the players will appreciate it.
Okay. So, that's the great thing about it. We're going to be on a lot of different social media platforms. But as I mentioned, radio every Wednesday night. Plus, back this year, our third year of broadcasting a high school football game of the week on local radio, 106.9 IM Country. You can tune in this Friday night, Gainesville and Ocala Vanguard. Always love it when you get that Marion County versus Alachua County showdown, Philip.
Should be a big-time environment. 2 athletic teams, 2 quality coaches. I'm looking forward to the showdown myself. Again,
106.9 IM Country. That's a 7 o'clock kick on Friday night. You can listen to the pregame beginning at 6:30. Hope to have interviews with both head coaches in the game on Friday night. Also, our audio game of the week. We'll be doing this again every Friday night. And I gave my broadcast partner a promotion. I'm going to miss Cam Parker. He's, by the way, interning at InsideTheGators.com. I'm going to miss him because he does such a great job at color and just being descriptive. But a play-by-play spot has opened up. It was only fair to give him a promotion. He took that promotion, and he's going to be doing play-by-play for our games at MainStreetDailyNews.com, a live audio broadcast every Friday night. In fact, let me go over the schedule real quick with what's coming up. I mentioned Vanguard Gainesville on radio on Friday. Our audio game of the week, we were supposed to be at Eastside PK Young, but unfortunately there is not a press box at PK Young. I've been watching the weather. We know what it's like here in Gainesville. Typically it'll rain late afternoon, maybe even early evening. No sense in taking that chance with not only our broadcast equipment but our crew as well. So we have decided to go across town. We're going to broadcast Oak Hall football. They're looking for, I believe, their 7th or 8th consecutive year of making the postseason. So a good one to start out with R.J. Fuhrer, the head coach over there at Oak Hall. They are hosting St. Joseph Academy out of St. Augustine, so that should be a good one. That's at 7 o'clock on Friday night. And, again, that's our audio broadcast at MainStreetDailyNews.com. There's a 15-minute pregame for our audio broadcast. But here's some of the games that we'll broadcast this year. Dixie County at Trenton. Sarasota Riverview at Buchholz. Buchholz East Side. Buchholz at Vanguard. This is just in the month of September, by the way. I mean, there's some good games this year. I'm really looking forward to it. And we get it started, really, at the Prep Zone on Thursday night. Maybe the best game of the year. We'll see. Buchholz taking on Lake City, Columbia.
All right. That's I think that may be one of the biggest atmospheres of the year. You've got 2 teams that expect to be in the playoffs, if not the state title game, for their particular classes. So it's a big matchup, big-time coaches, big-time players in that game. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
All right, so, again, our first show, so I just want to try to get as much information out as possible. Tomorrow, and thanks again to Sonic Drive-In. Like I said, we've been doing this thing, I want to say 10 years we've been doing this show. Been doing it for a long time.
In fact, the first time I met you was here at Sonic.
Sonic?
I brought one of my teams up here from Eastside. It's probably been 10 years ago.
Probably when you were coaching golf then, huh?
That was one of them, I think. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about this show. It gives us an opportunity to promote and talk about other sports other than just, the big football, basketball, baseball sports, for example. You might see a golf team on the show. Volleyball teams will be coming on the show. Cross country. In fact, last year we had the Buchholz cross country team on. They went on to win the state title. We also had the the Bradford boys basketball team on last year. They won state, their first ever in school history. We had the Santa Fe volleyball team on. They won their first volleyball title in school history. So that's the great thing about this show. It does give us an opportunity to promote other sports, and it's nice being here in Gainesville, having so many good athletes and teams.
Absolutely. And when you're at Sonic, make sure you rub Mike's head and order something from Sonic. You may win a state title.
Oh, goodness. tomorrow, Sonic will be closed. A little bit later, Haley from Sonic is going to come on the show briefly and tell you why. There's a big competition going on in this Gainesville location. They're up there pretty high in the rankings, if you will, competing. Well, I don't want to give too much info away until Haley. I don't want to steal her thunder, but speaking of thunder, it looks like the rain is headed this way. But we'll
sounded like a credit to this Sonic, though. That it's a top tier in the state, it sounded like. So that's a big deal for them, and they're such great hosts.
So stay tuned. Haley is coming up. All right, so without further ado, also check us out at MainStreetDailyNews.com. You can find lots of sports articles. I just wrote a story about Williston football. They've got a new coach in Robbie Pruitt. I'm writing a story tonight about the Chiefland football team. I'll have a recap of that Buchholz-Columbia game late Thursday night. I'll have a recap of Gainesville Vanguard. We'll also have a recap of the Oak Hall game, scores from all the games in the area. And if we can track down some coaches, get some quotes from coaches every Friday night too, so that we can keep you guys up to date at MainStreetDailyNews.com. But this is a show that is guest-driven, and our guests tonight are from St. Francis Catholic Academy here on 39th Avenue, the new head football coach of St. Francis Catholic Academy. There are 3 brand-new coaches, first-year coaches, I should say, in Alachua County. Harold Gator Hoskins over at Eastside, and then also Joe Szymanski at Santa Fe. He's going back to his alma mater. So 3 new coaches in Alachua County. There's actually 5 of the 6 Tri-County coaches are new. Bell's Joey Whittington is the only guy. He's the veteran over there. So all those other teams, Trenton and Williston and Chiefland, they've all got new coaches this year. So at some point maybe we can bring on a Tri-County team to talk about that area. But here in Alachua County, we have the new head football coach of the St. Francis Catholic Wolves, James Langham, who was an assistant coach at PK Young. First of all, Coach, thanks for coming out. I know it was short notice. Appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Looking forward to having the guys on a little bit later, but just kind of catch us up to speed on coaching over at PK Young, and maybe your coaching tree and so forth leading up to this St. Francis job. Congratulations, too, by the way, on the new position.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you letting us come out and have us on. It's big for us, a big opportunity, and to get our name and what we're going to be about out in the community. Answering that question, I was at PK Young for 3 years. I came on, served as the special team coordinator my first year.
Okay.
Also served as a middle linebacker coach. Carried that over into next year. That was the COVID year. That was obviously a very rough year, I think, for everybody. That was an adjustment period. You went through your ups and downs and kind of managed what you could, right?
Right.
Thank God we're out of that now. We're kind of like moving towards at least some sort of normality back into it, so that's the fantastic part. Last year before me taking this job, I actually dropped the middle linebacker part of it, took over tight ends, and also took over JV defensive coordinator, along with still carrying the special team coordinator job.
Okay.
So for me, it was truly a great opportunity, even coaching under Coach Marcus McDaniel my first 2 years, and then Coach Kevin Doling last year. Really getting to learn from those guys and really enhancing my knowledge, and them having to trust in me to be able to do my thing was really perfect. This opportunity came up over here at St. Francis. I went back and forth, to be honest with you, to begin with, right? It's across town. Do I really want to do that? Do I want to leave a good spot? We're coming off a playoff victory.
Right.
Everything's rolling now. But honestly, when I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, this is my opportunity to make an impact somewhere and make my own name for myself. So while, yes, I know St. Francis hasn't done much past couple years, that doesn't mean they can't do anything. It just means it takes the right person to go in there and give these boys a chance to kind of finally rally and have a legitimate football program that can be competitive, not just in this area, but in general in this region. Like, I want us to make a name for ourselves in Gainesville football and in North Central Florida.
Coach, as athletic director, I've sat across the table from a lot of coaches in interviews and different things for the hiring process. How did you sell yourself to St. Francis, and then how did they sell you?
So I think I'll answer the sell you part first, right? So because that was, a key thing as well. I think the selling me on them part was the fact that I could come in and really have full control of this program. I'm not going to be micromanaged. I'm not going to have this person pulling the strings behind me. I can come in and change the program however I see fit to change it, install new philosophies and a new mentality in the program, lay a new foundation, right? And to me, that's something I couldn't pass up. You know, the opportunity to go in there and start anew was perfect. Now, on the other end of it, right, I think the biggest thing that I was able to sell to them was the fact that I keep a positive mentality at all times. Like, there's a lot of guys that might run away from a team that's been, you know, hasn't won a game in 2.5 years.
Right, yeah.
That was not me. That, to me, is a challenge that I'm willing to take. And I sold them on the fact of I know what, even though I haven't been a head coach, I know what it's going to take to come in and give these boys a fighting chance, to make it respectable, to make them have that opportunity where they can be competitive. And it's baby steps. It's just working the little baby steps, fixing a foundation, and then building up from there.
I got one more question for him, Mike.
Yep.
What do you foresee, kids listening to the broadcast, they kind of want to know what to expect. What type of offense, what type of defense? You said you had special teams experience.
Yes, sir.
But, what are we going to see on Friday nights when we watch St. Francis?
So I think this year you're going to get a lot of run-oriented stuff, okay? I'm going to be honest. It's a lot easier to install run-based offense. We also have a pretty good-sized offensive line, I'll be honest with you. For a small school, we have a good-sized offensive line. We got a 3-headed running back. So we're going to have a running back by committee. All 3 juniors are really good, and we're going to roll through those guys. We do have 2. You're going to use a 2-quarterback system, too. I have 1 quarterback who's a lot better managing the offense, good arm. I have another quarterback who's a lot better running. So you're going to see kind of a 06 Gators, Chris Leak, Tim Tebow style offense.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. We spread people out. We use tight ends. We do have multiple formations we'll use, and we have a couple different plays we'll run out of all those different formations. So it's really going to keep a defense off balance, and that's the whole point. I want the defense to be on their heels, not on their toes. I want them to not understand what's coming next. Defensively, we're going to run a 4-2-5, which allows us really to be aggressive, right? We're going to be able to play a gap-based defense, but we're going to be able to fly around on the outsides as well. I have 2 guys that kind of your hybrid, I call them star safeties.
Mm-hmm.
Your hybrid outside linebacker, strong safety type of guys. Really athletic guys, both sophomores, so got plenty of room to grow there. Last game we had, KOC, both guys played out of their minds setting the edge. So that's something to look forward to, I think, with this program.
I wanted to ask you about a tweet, from your game,
Yes,
the
sir.
preseason game, and there's a reason, there's a method to my madness, if you will.
Yes, sir.
But once again, James Langham, the head coach, the new head coach of the St. Francis Catholic football team, our guest. We'll have members of the Wolves football team on the show as well. You're listening to the Prep Zone Sports Show on 106.9 I Am Country and audio online at iamcountryradio.com. But tonight, a new feature through the Prep Zone partnership. We also have the game streaming video on our YouTube channel, also Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, which I got to learn. So you can catch it in a lot of different places. But you tweeted out after your game against Franklin County that the score was a 14-0 loss, but you talked about how it was the first time in 4 years that St. Francis had held a team to just 14 points. So I like the fact that you were already right away looking for the positive for a team that's gone 0-20 over the last 2 years.
Correct. I think for me it's one of the biggest things that I was proud of my boys about, right? I wanted to see, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know how we were going to go going into that game. We went through a whole offseason together, went throughout summer, those long, hot days, grinding out. But I really didn't know. I don't know how it's going to respond when they line up against somebody else against them in front of them that, smacks them in the mouth. And how are we going to react to this? And to be honest with you, my guys showed all the fight in the world. They played a complete football game. Defensively, they carried it, right? We had a blown assignment that led to their first touchdown. And in the past, that's guys turning on each other. That's guys beating themselves up. And at that point, you might as well throw in the towel, right? It wasn't the case this time. This was the team rallying around that kid, picking him back up. A couple plays later in the game, when they're back on offense, it's one-on-one against a guy who probably, to be honest with you, has almost 8 inches on him. He goes up, perfect coverage, blocks the ball away, did his job. And that's just a microcosm of what it was about that game. The guys stayed in it. The guys stayed fighting. Even when we got to the last part of the game, where there's only about 2 minutes left, the other team's driving, Franklin County's driving, and credit to them and credit to their coaching staff of what they were able to do there as well.
Yeah.
But they're driving the ball down there inside the red zone, and yet we come up and, plain and simple, stop it. And 4 downs in a row, 4 and out. Game's over at this point, but I still had boys out there laying it all on the line, doing their jobs, and just showing me they wanted it.
Yeah.
And that's something that was a huge change. And like I said, and that's why I sent that out. I couldn't be more proud of them. And at the time when I told them, it's the funny part, I told them on the bus that it was the first time in 2 years. And then I'm sitting on the bus ride back, 'cause that's a long bus ride back from Franklin County. And I'm there, and I happen to realize, wait a minute, no. And I had to tell them that was the first time in 4 years. So I don't care what team you're playing or what's been happening with this football program. That's something to be proud of. The fact that you, for the first time, none of them, not one person on this team has ever held a team to 14 points until now.
Yeah, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I was a guest on the Prep Zone. Marty Pallman has a new show called the Prep Zone Football Hour every Monday night at 7 o'clock. I was a guest as a sports director for Main Street Daily News, and we talked about which team is going to be the surprise in the area, because we feel like Buchholz, Hawthorne, those teams are going to be the teams that have the best chance to win a state title.
For sure.
But which team is going to be a surprise this year? So I said it kind of came down between Williston, which only won one game last year, and Robbie Pruitt won 3 state titles in a row at Union County, so he knows what he's doing. But you look at their schedule, it could be a work in progress. You don't know how long it's going to take. But he said if they win 2 games this year, then he's 50% better than they were last year.
Yep.
So I actually said my surprise team, like I said, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, was St. Francis Catholic Academy. I went back, too, and I looked, and I saw the least amount of points they gave up last year was 26 points to Rocky Bayou Christian. Again, did not win a single game last year. Did not win a single game the year before. 19 points was the least amount of points the year before. So, yeah, you're right. You have to go back a few years to find that. And all it takes is one win for St. Francis Catholic Academy, I guess, in a way, for me to get my pick right. So I felt pretty good about my chances.
He did pick you, and to all your credit, Mike, you're drinking the Sonic Slushy Kool-Aid tonight.
There you go.
As a little plug for the sponsor.
There you go.
Coach, one thing as an AD, I try to look at it, maybe from a big picture view. Just looking at scheduling the last few years, St. Mary's has been on the road a lot of miles. What's the thought process behind the schedule, and is that something you want to continue, or are you looking to get a little more local in the future? What's your plan?
That's a great question. This is a schedule that I inherited. The only difference on this schedule this year that was a change is we're no longer playing Riverside Christian. Instead, we're scheduled to play Melbourne Central Catholic. That's going to be our homecoming game, actually.
Okay.
So that was the change. That being said, I am a firm believer, and there is many schools in a very small circumference around here that we should be able to play and play competitively. There is no reason that we need to be on the road 4 hours and then back-to-back to another 3.5-hour one away.
Yeah.
I'm not about that. I've told the boys that. I think that there's a reason they did it, right? They were trying to search for level competition at the time.
Which is a challenge.
It absolutely is. But, like I told y'all, this is a different St. Francis football team. This is not your St. Francis team of the past. This is a whole brand new program now. We're going to be competitive. We should be able to compete with teams that are at most an hour and 15 minutes away, and I should be able to easily fill out a schedule that is competitive but also good for us in terms of amount of miles we're moving.
Well, and the one thing I remember last year, obviously other than not winning a game, was the fact that it was a young St. Francis team last year. So that boded well for the future.
Absolutely.
So, well, Coach, thanks for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it. We're looking forward to talking to your guys, but good luck this year.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. Thanks
again
for coming out.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Once again, that's James Lingham, the head coach of the St. Francis Catholic Academy Wolves, our guest tonight here on the Prep Zone Sports Show. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more of the show right after this on 106.9 IM Country and online at the Prep Zone.
County. Fall is finally here. It's time for some great barbecue with friends and family. Why not treat them to Adam? Adam's Rib Show, putting the ribs back in barbecue.
Yeah, see, it keeps going. It plays and we always looked at this.
I see. So the spot.
Yes. Can you hear us? Okay.
I see. So the way next time we'll do, I've never used live assists.
Okay.
So the songs must now play back to back.
Correct.
Automatically, but the
commercials,
spots are like one entity
Mhm.
in next gen. That's cool to know. I see.
Mike, you got about a minute.
Rejoin is only 50 seconds
Mhm.
long. It'll be a quick count.
Yep.
like TV, don't say one.
Right. Yep.
Say 3, 2, go.
About 40 seconds. Yes.
Actually, that's probably safe. I'm attorney Stephen Pagan. Do yourself a favor. Keep talking right away. And call us at 1-800.
Listening to the Prep Zone Sports Show.
All right.
Live from Sonic Drive.
About 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to your locally owned Sonic Drive-In of Gainesville. Mike Ridaught along with my guest host tonight, Philip Crutchfield, the former athletics director at Eastside. How about, let's talk about that for a moment. Gator returning to his alma mater.
Right seems to be a theme in the area. You know, a lot of you got Ed Johnson at Newberry, Mark Whittemore, Gator, Cornelius Ingram at Hawthorne, all alums. So I think, and Joe Demansky now. So that's kind of a theme in Alachua County, the alums. But I know Eastside's looking for big things from Coach Gator in the community.
Eastside will play at PK Young on Friday night, and we hope to have some kind of a recap at MainStreetDailyNews.com. Tonight we have the St. Francis Catholic Academy football team on the show. Let's have the guys in this segment introduce themselves. If you would, guys, let everybody know who you are, what year you are, and also what positions you'll play this year.
Well, my name is Anthony Davila.
Talking to the mic, yeah. Hold it close to your mouth there.
My name is Anthony Davila. I am class of 2024, and I am the center for St. Francis Wolves.
Okay.
My name is Johnny O'Donnell. I'm class of 2025, and I play quarterback and outside linebacker.
Okay. All right. We'll start with you, Anthony.
Yes, sir.
We just had Coach Lingham on. It seems like he's a pretty excitable guy. You know, he looks at the positive side of things. How have you been impressed with him so far and what he's been able to do?
Well, sir, this is my first year playing center,
and
he's taught me a lot. He's taught me the blocking, like just the concepts of what to do as the center, because you need to focus on the snap, of course. That's the first thing, and then blocking the nose guard or the D tackle. So he's just taught me a lot of knowledge that it's great.
All right, Johnny, talk about the quarterback position, because Coach said that you guys are going to have 2 quarterbacks this year.
Yes, sir. So for me, I see myself coming in for a lot of like QB runs and like misdirection plays. Like I think Cooper will come in for more of like the passing attack. I'll be more of like a running threat.
Okay. From the game, we'll stay with you, Johnny. From the game this past week against Franklin County, how much did it help from a confidence standpoint, knowing that, didn't win a single game last year? This team didn't anyway. And just coming in with a new head coach, how much did it help, maybe the morale of the team, knowing that you were competitive in the game?
Yeah. I mean, it was awesome that we were at least somewhat competitive in the game, knowing that last year we got blown out like every single game for the most part.
Right.
So for us to keep it close the whole time, I would say that really boosts some confidence for the season.
And Mike, to be fair, Mike picked you guys to be the most improved team in Alachua County in the preseason on Monday. So
you only got to win one game to make it right.
There you go, guys.
Yeah. All right, how about this week's opponent? Do you know anything yet about Indian Rocks Christian?
We know that they're a little bit bigger, and we're on the smaller side. I know that I think we'll have an advantage, since on the line as the center, lower person always going to win. So I think that our advantage is that we're smaller and we can get under the pads and drive them forward.
Okay. How about the defensive line? It sounds like that might be a team streak coming
Yes, sir. Our defensive line is improved a lot, as in our inside nose guard and D tackle and our outsides are a lot faster. We're a lot stronger there, and I think that we'll do good.
Okay.
It sounds like you guys are going to be a focal point. Coach was saying you guys are going to be a run-oriented team. So you said that you're the running quarterback and center. So look forward to seeing these guys do big things this year.
Yes, sir. What do you think is going to be the key to having a successful season?
I think we just got to stay together. You know, like times are going to get tough. I think that will happen, but what matters is that we all stand as one and we compete the whole game.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, good luck this year. If you would send over the other two, and we'll be pulling for you. I got to protect my investment, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right,
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. All right. So we got two more St. Francis players that are going to step in now. Guys, if you would, start out by letting everybody know who you are, what year you are, and then also what positions you're going to play this year.
My name is Richard Jones. I'm a junior, and I play linebacker and offensive tackle.
Okay.
I'm Avi Steiner, year 2025, sophomore. I play outside linebacker, star safety, and tight end on offense.
Okay, all right. And that's the thing. I guess at a small school, you're going to be expected to play offense, defense, maybe even sell popcorn at the half, you know, those types of things. So, wanted to start out by asking, I'll start with Richard first. Your thoughts on Coach Langham? Seems like to be a pretty positive type guy.
Yes, sir. He brought a whole entire new energy to the team, you know. Me not really playing that much before he came. I mean, I just thought he's like the best coach I've ever had almost. He's done a whole lot for the team, you know. He's brought a whole lot of hope. And, yeah, he leads us in the right way.
Okay. Avi, what's your thoughts on Coach Langham?
Yeah. Ever since I met Coach Langham from the start, you know, he already looked like a good coach. Started from PK Young, coaching there. That's already a good school for coaching. Yeah, he's been coaching us since the spring. I have good thoughts about him. I feel like he's going to get us to a good season.
Guys, just looking down your roster here, still looks like I know you guys were real young last year. You guys, a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors on this roster. You know, talk about that maybe as a strength and a weakness.
Yeah, you know, we're young, but we got a lot of talent that will get built up in the next couple of years. I'd say, give it next year, we'll be big enough to where we'll be able to smoke other teams a lot better than we have been.
That's what we like, confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a lot of potential on the team. You know, we can recruit more freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors. You know, they all have potential. They, you know, the right size.
He's got you listed at 6'1", 165, so you're a good-sized young man for a sophomore.
Yeah, I mean, I just get another 10 pounds, keep going up from there. But, yeah, I think we have a lot of potential on the team. I think we'll be good.
Well, just eat a lot of Sonic tonight, you know. We'll try to put some weight on you.
Yeah.
All right, so how about this first game? What do you know, Richard, about your opponent coming up on Friday night? I know you guys had to make a pretty decent trip, you know, to Largo to play Indian Rocks Christian.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they seem very big and very strong, but I think if we could stop them whenever they run it down the middle, I think we have a really good chance of winning that game. And if we could get outside of their line, I think we have a good chance of winning that game.
Okay. What do you think, Avi? What do you think is going to be the keys to a Wolves victory on Friday?
Well, the main thing we have to focus on in Indian Rocks Christian game, the offensive line. They have like a lot of big dudes on the team.
Okay.
Our defensive line needs to get through their every single play, you know. They're really good at blocking. They focus on one person to run the ball, number 20. He's really fast. And honestly, me and Johnny, another outside linebacker, always have to get there on the play. He's always going to be on the outside, so that's our main target, and I think we'll do pretty good.
Okay. All right, same question for each of you, but last question. We'll start with you, Richard. Looking at the schedule, give me a game that you're looking forward to the most and why.
I'm looking forward to the All-Silla game because it seems like every single year they've come out and they've destroyed us. They've just ran us down, and this year I want to change that, and we could go out there and beat them.
Okay, and you got to go to their place.
Yes, sir.
Monticello. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Bobby?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I'm looking for Ocala, you know, our rival opponent in Gainesville,
Big rivalry
Florida.
game, yeah.
I mean, they got a lot of new G's on the team. They're looking pretty solid. They just beat PK off a win, but I'm looking for that game. We're playing against them at their place.
Yeah.
But that sounds fun, though.
Okay.
I'm excited.
All right, guys. Well, appreciate you coming out tonight. Good luck the rest of this season. We'll be pulling for you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Once again, thanks in this segment to Johnny O'Donnell, Avi Steiner, Richard Jones and Anthony Davila. Hopefully I got that last name pronounced right. All right, so we'll take a break, and we'll come back with more of the St. Francis Catholic football team. You're listening to the Prep Zone Sports Show on 106.9 IM Country and online at imcountryradio.com.
Hi, this is Gabriel with Florida Cash Home Buyers, and I buy houses.
All right, you're on break. You got about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. When I first came to UF, I actually heavily considered going into sports because I love college sports. I love college sports. And I grew up as a Gator. I've been over 90 Gator games my lifetime. But when I came to UF and Mullen was still head coaching, they told us students have no input whatsoever that goes on with the football program. I said, well, so I want hands-on experience. I don't want to be learning from a textbook or in a classroom. I want to be like actually on the field or whatever, gathering audio and gathering footage. So now Mullen's very hushed up. You don't get any access to anything. I'm like, well, all right, I'll stick to the news then. But when Napier came in, it's whole different now, totally different. Students now have access to press conferences and practices. A friend of mine, she just posted on her Snapchat story. She was at the press conference, I guess Napier was given today or something. And she's been on the practice field. She's been interviewing players and gathering all this feed for ESPN. And I'm like, now they have like I would honestly work for the university and be involved with their athletic department. I've done, if you ever go to Spurrier's, the black and white footage that they got up there, I collected from the university, went to their vault and pulled and gave it to them. So NFL group is a Bucks fan. Baseball I got into just a few years ago because my friend's a diehard baseball fan. And NBA, I can't tell you NBA.
For football.
Five, 4, 3, 2.
Mike Ridaught and my special guest host tonight, Philip Crutchfield, joining me on the Prep Zone. Our first of the 2022-2023 high school year. We'll be broadcasting this show every Wednesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. We'll have a different high school team on, coaches and athletes. That includes, even, like I said in the first segment, some schools and programs that we normally don't get to recognize, like golf and cross country, et cetera. We'll have those types of teams on the show. But tonight, we're talking high school football with the St. Francis Catholic Academy Wolves. Before we get to our next guest, I want to remind you folks that we do have high school football coming up on Thursday night at the Prep Zone live video for Columbia and Buchholz. You can get that on all types of social media, our YouTube channel, the Prep Zone, also on Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook as well. And we'll have more information at theprepzone.com. But then on Friday night, we have our high school football game of the week. It's the Stevenson Septic Tank Services High School Football Game of the Week. They sponsor both our radio broadcast and our audio online broadcast at MainStreetDailyNews.com. Our radio broadcast on Friday night is Ocala Vanguard at Gainesville. 7 o'clock kick will be on the air at 6:30 right here on the radio. And then our audio-only broadcast at MainStreetDailyNews.com will be on Friday night at 7 with a 6:45 pregame as the Eastside Rams travel across town to take on the Peak. Oh, what? I misspoke. That was the game we were planning on doing until we found out there was a 60-70% chance of rain. There's no press box there. So instead, we're going to play it safe. Ooh, I just saw some bad lightning. We're going to play it safe, and we'll broadcast O'Call School. They've said, yes, you guys can sit in our press box. So,
better safe than sorry.
That's better. That's absolutely right. So, as I mentioned, the St. Francis Wolves are guest tonight, and we're going to have members of the football team on in this segment. Guys, if you would, let everybody know who you are, what year you are, and then also what positions you might play this year.
I'm Cooper Leapers, class of 2024, and I play quarterback.
Okay.
Well, I'm Devin Rollins, class of 2024. I played running back, linebacker, and special teams.
Okay. All right. We'll start with Devin since he has the microphone. Talk a little bit about the backfield. 2-quarterback system, it sounds like, but then also tell me about the running game and
running game. Our running game is really good, actually. That's what I feel like.
Okay.
We have 3 strong running backs. We all are strong. We like to hit and we like to run over. That's all we do, really. We like 3 starting. I ain't saying starting, but like 3 dogs running backs.
Okay.
We'll bull rush you. You try to go against us. It take more than one man to take us down.
Yeah.
They like the contact.
Yes.
It's always good.
Yeah. And Coach Lango mentioned that that was something that he was going to implement was the running game.
Yes, sir.
What's been in your impressions of Coach Lango?
Coach Lango? Oh, he's a really good coach. He's changing his program a lot. Gave us a nutritionist program, a strengthening program, and everything. Now we eating right, getting stronger, getting faster, doing different things we never done in our life, really.
That's great. That's great. How about the defensive side of the ball? Tell me a little bit about this St. Francis defense.
Well, now we have new stunts, new defensive like coverages. Our defense is spread out more in different kind of ways, and it's much more better to us. And it's getting us ready if we want to play for the D1 level. It's getting us ready to know more plays in our head and all.
Yeah.
It's fun, really.
Okay. All right. Cooper, let me get your thoughts on the quarterback position. I know Johnny's going to be playing quarterback as well. Tell me a little bit about your style and what we might see when you go on the field.
Johnny's more of the running sort of quarterback, so more like I don't know how to pronounce it. More like
you throw
runs and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm more of the passing quarterback.
Okay.
So, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Lift that microphone up just a little bit. There you go. How about this offense? What's your impression so far of this offense?
I feel like it's a strong offense. We had a young team, so we all had to learn everything new. I feel like Coach Langham really knows what he's doing, and he's really taught us a lot this summer.
Okay. Your impressions of Coach Langham?
He's a good coach. He knows what he's doing. He cares a lot about the program. Like Devin said, he's improved with the nutrition program and stuff. Everyone's learning a lot, and it's really good.
Now, were you both, since you're juniors, were you both on the team last year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me get your thoughts, Cooper, on putting last year behind you, because I know it was such a tough year. You didn't win a game last year. It probably seemed like the defense was on the field for much of the game last year. So how have things from a mindset changed, knowing that you got a new coach coming into a new year? Have you been able to put last year behind you to get ready for this year?
One thing we're focusing on is having short-term memory loss. So, you have a bad play or something, you just got to forget about it.
Yeah.
And, we kind of just we're like starting new, basically, like a new era.
Okay. Same question for you, Devin. Your thoughts from last year to this year?
Well, like he said, we're starting a new era, trying to leave everything in the past, keep playing football, and win some games.
Yeah. How about a game on the schedule that you're looking forward to the most and why?
Well, I think the game I'm looking forward to the most, and it'd be a surprise, but it's O'Call, our rivals.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that game.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what the sport is. You guys will want to beat them.
Yeah, pretty much. Every sport, baseball, football, basketball, everything.
Yeah.
Want to beat them.
All right.
Guys, I got a question for you. Who's somebody on the team that we should be aware of? Who should we be looking for as press? Who are we going to be writing about from St. Francis?
Well, I think everybody on the team, really. I'm not going to say one person because we're all leaders. We all played our hardest. We all play to win. So everybody.
Gotcha.
All right. Let me ask Cooper that same question. Is there a game on the schedule that you're looking forward to the most, and which one and why?
Probably O'Call.
Okay.
Last year, it wasn't a good game. There's definitely stuff we could have improved on. This year, we're working on everything we were doing wrong last season, we fixed this season. And every game, we're going to learn more and get better.
What have you guys learned from last year now coming into this year in order for this to be a good season? What do you think is going to happen? Start with Devin.
Ask me the question again, sir.
What, in your opinion, has to happen in order for this to be a good season for St. Francis?
I think that what has to happen is we got to come together as a team, not go against each other, and play football, and have fun, and try to win at the same time.
Okay. All right. Well, what about you, Cooper? You think there's more to it than that, or do you agree with
Come together as a team. You know, we have a bunch of new players, stuff like that, so everyone's going to have to do that. And then I feel like we just need, a bunch of new players. We're all going to have to learn the game. Once that happens and we all join together as a family, we'll be a good team.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming out tonight. Appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the year. And if you would, send over our last two. We appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Great job.
Good job. Once again, in this segment, that was Cooper Leifers and Devin Rollins. They're both juniors for the St. Francis Catholic team. We got a couple more guys that are going to introduce themselves. Guys, if you would, we'll start with you first. Grab that microphone there. Let everybody know who you are, what year you are, and also what positions you're going to play this year.
I'm Josh Aurelio. I play running back, and I'm class of 2024.
Okay.
I'm Nicholas Gomez-Vera. I'm the class of 2024. I'm defensive tackle, defensive end, and middle linebacker, and offensive right tackle.
All right, guys, thanks for coming out tonight. Josh, let me ask you about Coach Langham. We've been asking each of the guys, new coach, kind of a new era. Your thoughts on Coach Langham and what you've seen?
Yes, sir. Coach Langham, he's brought a bunch to the table so far. He's making sure that our program's something new. He's taught us, my whole team, our brothers here, we learned a lot from him. He's brought us to college camps to get us exposed. He really wants the best for us.
All right. I'll ask you the same question, Nicholas.
Coach Langham is – so Coach McDaniel was he was my first coach for the first 2 years, and he was a great coach. But Coach Langham, he just brought something else to the table. He's I feel like he's really like getting all the players to buy in. Like he's really motivating. He gets on us, and like whenever we mess up, he's on our butts, So yes, sir.
All right. What do you think is going to be the key to having a good season? Because, it would be so easy if things start off slow. You could go back to that mindset of last year, like, oh, no, here we go again. So we'll start with you, Josh. What do you think is going to be the key to make sure you don't resort back to that mindset?
I think we got to keep that hard-working mentality. And when we do mess up, we got to make sure we have accountability. Coach Langham's make sure that he taught us a lot about accountability when we were wrong, to make sure we own up to it. And I think that besides that, we also need to keep our team chemistry up a lot.
Okay.
Our problem, which has improved recently, is keeping our heads up. After, like, last year in spring, they scored a touchdown, and everybody just got – after that, it was over. But this past game, we held them to 2 touchdowns, and we really kept our heads up. We had some bad plays, but we just kept moving on and kept making plays.
Yeah, and so I know Coach was big on that, the fact that you'd only given up 14 points, and it's been a few years since that's happened at St. Francis. Tell me a little bit about the offense and the defense. We'll go back to you, Josh.
Our offense has a lot to bring to the table. We have a bunch of schemes and formats that will be unpredictable, and the other teams will have to really look at us for that. Our defense is looking a lot better from the past couple of years. So far, the spring game was okay, but our last game we just had 14. We held them to 14, and we stayed strong. Second half, they scored no points, so we're looking forward to that too.
I think our offense, it needs work, but I think once it gets there, we're going to be solid. And last game, we could have scored at least 2 touchdowns, but because of penalties and our guys not seeing the hole, we miss opportunities, and we can't do that. And our defense is really solid right now. And honestly, defense is a lot easier than offense because you just run the ball. But yes, sir, our defense is looking really good.
Guys, I only count just looking at the roster here, I count 3 seniors on this team. So you guys are a relatively young team. Talk about that for a second, and where do you see you guys this year and next year on a 2-year plan?
Yes, sir. Our seniors, they've stepped up a lot. They train us juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. But right now it's pretty good for our future because these freshmen and sophomores and even us, we're hoping that we can bring it down to the next class and help them out and be the future for this school.
I think even if I don't have a great next 2 years, I feel that I want to try to leave a mark at the school so I can be part of the new St. Francis football team.
That's a great attitude.
Yes, absolutely. Josh, pronounce your last name again for me.
Oh, I'm Josh.
Josh,
Aurelio?
I'm sorry. What is it, Aurelio?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And then Nicholas, pronounce your last name again.
Gomez Vera.
Okay, Gomez Vera. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure I had it right here. Guys, thanks so much for coming out tonight. Really
Yes, sir.
appreciate it, and good luck all season. We'll be
Yes, sir.
pulling
Thank
for
you.
you. All right. We
Great
appreciate
job.
it.
Have a good night.
All right. Thanks again to Josh and Nicholas for coming out tonight. We appreciate it. So we'll take another break and come back and, well, getting close to closing time here. Another good episode of the Prep Zone, our first show for the 2022-2023 high school year. Thanks again to James Langham, the head coach, in his first season with the Wolves, and also to these Wolves players. They seem pretty confident.
Absolutely, and to be honest, just sitting here, they're a good-sized group of young men.
Yeah.
They got a little size on them, so I
noticed that too.
wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take a break, come back with more of the Prep Zone Sports Show right after this on 106.9 IM Country.
So many people here are getting real lasting joy.
You got about 3 minutes and 50 seconds. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to your locally owned Sonic Drive-In of Gainesville. Let's see if we can get Haley over here. By the way, thanks again to Reagan Knight and Living Large Larry. They're kind of tag teaming, producing tonight's show. So we appreciate their hard work. And Living Large Larry will be, I think he'll be joining me on Friday to produce Friday night's football game. Before we talk about that, we're going to talk about the fact that Sonic Drive-In of Gainesville is closed tomorrow, but with good reason. Haley has stepped in to explain why. Haley, thanks for coming out. Well, I say coming out. You're busy working now. You got to work in the rain. But tell us a little bit more about what's going on here at Sonic tomorrow.
So tomorrow we are actually going to be doing our Sonic Dr. Pepper games. Sonic Dr. Pepper games, if anybody hasn't heard about it, is something that we do yearly. It's just something through the nation where we get together and compete through all the Sonics to see who is the best. And our Sonic actually is the first one in 10 years to make it to the top 12.
Okay, that's pretty awesome.
So, yeah, so we're actually closed down tomorrow, and we're going to compete, hopefully be number one. I think we got it, actually.
Is it open to the public to come watch?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are more than welcome to come down and cheer us on. There's going to be some games and I think free food, free drinks from Dr. Pepper. So you guys are more than welcome. Absolutely.
And what time does it?
Around 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Around 9 a.m. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
You pretty excited?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been here for 5 years now. So, we work hard every year to get to it, and we got it to this year, so.
The top Sonic in the state of Florida, right here in Gainesville.
Well, I know it's getting busy for you guys, so Haley, thanks for stopping by for just a moment.
Absolutely.
Thanks again for all that you do. I know you always take care of us. We appreciate it.
She's a rock star.
Yes, thank you. All right, thanks to Haley with that update. So there you go. Sonic Drive-In will be closed tomorrow, but for a good reason. Thanks again to Sonic Drive-In for all they do. As I mentioned, this is probably our 10th year in a row of hosting this show. We'll be doing it every Wednesday night, 7 to 8 p.m. You can listen to it on 106.9 IM Country and also online at imcountryradio.com. So
they do such a great job taking care of the student athletes, too, and the coaches,
yes,
feeding them. It's just a great time and a great experience for all the teams.
Yeah, not only feeding the teams, but then also we give out our Sonic Drive-In player of the game during our broadcast, and they get even more free food.
Just making the kids feel special and focusing on high school sports. It's a great thing.
Well, since we've got about 6 or 7 minutes, Philip, by the way, Philip Crutchfield joining me tonight. Marty Pallman will be back next week. He's broadcasting Santa Fe College volleyball tonight.
Big time.
Yes. Let's talk high school football in the area. Again, thanks to St. Francis Catholic Football for coming out tonight. I mentioned Coach Lingham is one of 3 new Alachua County coaches. The other 2 coaches in Alachua County that are new, we'll start with, they're both alums of their school, but Harold Gator Hoskins, I think that we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show. It just sounds like everybody's rejuvenated, excited about the upcoming season, and I know that Coach Hoskins will do well.
Right. I think they're looking for big things at Eastside, and it's a roster full of kids who it's finally a complete senior class is probably the best way to put it. They had some transfers in the past that's been impacting things, but this year they've got some numbers that are seniors, and so they've been in the weight room. They've had that time to develop. They've got a staff that's energized. You've got a lot of alumni on the staff, and I would say I don't have the facts and figures right in front of me, but just off the guys that I know personally in the county, probably the highest percentage of coaches that actually played at the college level in the county. So I think it's a quality coaching staff. It's a good blend of older guys, young guys, and Coach Hoskins, he's passionate about Eastside. He's Eastside through and through. So I think it means something to him.
I know when we were talking on Marty's show on Monday night, the Prep Zone Football Hour, by the way, you can go back and watch it on YouTube, but I mentioned that the surprise team for me was St. Francis Catholic Academy. I can't remember if you said it was going to be your surprise, but you do feel like Joe Szymanski is going to do a good job at Santa Fe.
I do. I do. So I had an opportunity to actually interview Joe Szymanski one time, as athletic director for a coaching position. He's a guy that's got a plan, and he has some really good thoughts on how to get guys to become a team. And I think that over time will really make an impact at Santa Fe. That school, it just seems like they always have a few pieces that are good players, but they just can't quite get them to come together as a team. And and I think he is going to do good things. He's also hired a good staff. He hired Alex DeLeon, former Eastside coach who I know really well, who's a top-tier coach. Bo Mashburn, who's a Santa Fe alum from Buchholz, is going up there with him, as well as there's several other assistants that are, from the area, experience. And it's also, sometimes, you got to learn. He went through that learning process at Interlochen. And Interlochen, I would say, year in, year out, may not have the talent that Santa Fe has year in and year out. So I think he's shown that he can be a high school head coach. Now plug him into Santa Fe. Maybe you have a few more athletes at Santa Fe year in and year out, and I think he's going to do something special with that plan.
Again, Eastside will open up at PK Young on Friday night, 7 o'clock game. Santa Fe, meanwhile, they will also be in action as the Raiders will have to go to Newberry. It's always a big rivalry game, and Ed Johnson just hired a couple of former Gators to his coaching staff. So that should be a good one to start the season.
It should be. That's always a big, big game. And just the proximity of the communities there, so, Alachua and Newberry, a lot of crossover there, a lot of bragging rights on the line. And you again, 2 alumni coaches now. So you've got one that's all Raider, one that's all Panther, going head-to-head, and, 2 prideful communities. And also, I think, pretty comparable teams. So it should be a good shootout. And I know just as far as ticket sales, this is always the biggest game of the year for Santa Fe. I've heard Ms. Falk, their athletic director, say that dozens of times.
Well, one of the biggest games this entire season is being played on Thursday night, and you can watch the game live. The Prep Zone will have a broadcast of the game, but Buchholz just played Trinity Catholic in the preseason game this past Friday, and in that game had 3 interceptions. In fact, Jakari Kelly and Gavin Hill both had pick sixes, but Buchholz is going to be at home against a Columbia team who they've lost 6 in a row to. So looking forward to that game tomorrow night, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, 6:45 pregame. Prep Zone, again, will have coverage. But you got Tyler Jefferson, who transferred from Hawthorne, the quarterback. Fryer, the receiver from Swanee, has transferred to Columbia. And we know Buchholz is so loaded this year.
And keep in mind, Tyler Jefferson was with Coach Jackson at Fort White. So, he has an understanding of what they want to do already.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be, as steep a learning curve as maybe a first-year quarterback at another program. He's already been with him before. So I think you've got, Creed Whittemore versus Tyler Jefferson, all those athletes against the Buchholz receivers, Columbia defense, matchups everywhere, primetime high school football in the state of Florida, in my opinion.
Yeah, kind of looking forward to seeing the matchup between Jaden Robinson, who initially committed to South Carolina, but now he is a Gator commit, going against Jaron Hamilton, who transferred from PK Young. He has an offer on the table from Alabama, so if Nick Saban offered him, he's got to be pretty good. In fact, he hauled in a 70-yard touchdown pass from Creed Whittemore in that preseason game on Friday.
Right. It's Division I everywhere.
Yes.
Tyler Jefferson's a Jim McElwain commit to Central Michigan. So you've got a lot of crossover there with talented guys. I can't think of another game this year where we're going to see as much Division I talent in this area.
And don't forget about our radio broadcast coming up on Friday night, Gainesville and Ocala Vanguard. As I noted, it's always good to see Marion County and Alachua County go head-to-head. That'll be a big one. Gainesville, though, they're looking to snap a losing streak in that series as well.
Absolutely, and you have two experienced head coaches, Doc Pollard, Coach Farmer, guys who've been doing it for a while, so they're going to have their teams ready to play. I look for Vanguard to have the edge talent-wise over a young GHS team, but Vanguard GHS is always must-see TV.
All right, so check us out on radio, 106.9 IM Country on Friday night, 7 o'clock game, but we'll be on the air at 6:30 with our pregame coverage for Vanguard and GHS. And then don't forget about our audio-only broadcast at Main Street Daily News on Friday as Ocala hosts St. Joseph Academy of St. Augustine. Philip, I've enjoyed it, man. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Yes, sir. Always love being here at Sonic. Hopefully the rain will hold off so we can get in the car.
Thanks again to the St. Francis Catholic football team. Also thanks to Living Large Larry and also Reagan Knight for producing tonight's show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next Wednesday for the Prep Zone Sports Show. For all of us here at the Prep Zone and 106.9 IM Country, I'm Mike Ridaught. Good night and God bless.